All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Giants Sports Talk Live, the morning edition. It's just going to be me this morning because as we speak, or I should say, as I speak, Glenn is in the air on his way back to Canada for a couple of weeks. So I will cover the morning edition today, this Tuesday morning. Started off, Giants will be facing off against the Arizona Diamondbacks for the first game of a 3-game series. Gonna have Kyle Harrison going up against Ryan Nelson. Should be an interesting game. I think the story of the game is probably going to be, let's see what Kyle Harrison could do, because when he was in Milwaukee, didn't work out. The first 4 innings was pretty good, right? He was doing well, but then the 5th inning happened and it all fell apart. Again, you can't blame him. He's 22 years old. First time he's going the full season in the MLB, so he's probably hitting a wall, maybe having a little bit of fatigue. That's going to happen, right? So I'm not gonna put too much pressure on the kid. It's the same thing with Birdsong. I think he's going through the same thing. But again, it's getting them that valuable experience, even though they may be scuffing a little bit. It's getting them that experience. It's invaluable. It will pay dividends in the future. So we'll see what happens tonight at Oracle. Again, 6:45 start. We will be here on Giant Sports Talk Live post game. Should be around 9:30. I'll set it for 9:30, but I will adjust it depending on what's going on in the game. And Glenn should be joining us because he should be in Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken, at that time to be able to do the post game. All right, let's take a look at what's going on today in baseball. We'll take a look at the schedule. First up, got the Chicago White Sox at the Baltimore Orioles. You got Nick Nastrini against Cade Povich. We'll see how that works out for Chicago. Probably not too well. Chicago Cubs kind of stink. But they will be facing off against Baltimore. At 3:40 p.m. Pacific, you got the Washington Nationals facing off against the Miami Marlins at Miami. Patrick Corbin, who actually had a good outing against the Yankees of all people, will face off against Max Meyer. See how that transpires. Got the Minnesota Twins facing off against the Tampa Bay Rays. Minnesota just going to be stocking up some wins probably. I mean, Tampa Bay isn't horrible, but they're not that good this year. You got David Festa facing off Jeffrey Springs. Again, that will take place at 6:50 p.m. Pacific. Later on in the afternoon, we got Philadelphia. The Phillies taking on the Blue Jays in Toronto. You got Tyler Phillips going up against Chris Bassett. That guy throws everything but the kitchen sink at you. Should be an interesting game. Toronto's out of it, but Philadelphia, if they want to hold on. I think actually they'll probably hold on to the NL East. The next game, this is the one that's going to be interesting. You got the Boston Red Sox at New York at Flushing, Glenn's favorite place. Favorite city to visit, Flushing, New York. So you got the Red Sox going up against the Mets. This is going to be on TBS, 4:10 p.m. Cutter Crawford versus David Peterson. The reason why I said that should be interesting, you know what? Before I even get to that, let's get to the next game first, because they're kind of hand in hand. You got Colorado Rockies going up against Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, 4:20 p.m. Pacific. Kyle Freeland against Chris Sale, probably your National League Cy Young. Pretty sure that's what it's going to be. Okay, now to dovetail these two games together, you got New York. They're only a half a game behind the Atlanta Braves to take that third wild card position. It's going to be tough. Atlanta's going to throw Chris Sale, so they may be able to stay above. And again, Boston isn't an easy team to beat for the Mets. So those two games should be interesting because it will determine if Atlanta stays in that third wild card, or maybe the New York Mets can make some headway and leapfrog Atlanta. We'll find out a little bit later this evening. Cleveland Guardians facing the Kansas City Royals. You got Tanner Beebe going up against Brady Singer. Those two, they're fighting for the dominance of the AL Central. We'll see how this should be a good game. Pittsburgh Pirates at Chicago. Yesterday, Pirates got the best of them. Chicago, they're playing really good baseball. It's going to be tough for Chicago. They're going to go up against Paul Skeens. Cubs going to throw out their veteran Kyle Hendricks. Again, that's another guy that kind of throws everything but the kitchen sink as well. It will be tough for the Cubs, absolutely. With Paul Skeens going or taking the mound for Pittsburgh. St. Louis going against Milwaukee. That's, again, St. Louis is a team just above the Giants. But it's a tall task going against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's playing some really good baseball. You got Steven Matz going for the Cardinals and Savali going for the Brewers. Excuse me. New York Yankees facing off against the Texas Rangers. Got Carlos Rodon against Andrew Heaney. Should be an easy game for the Yankees. We'll see how that works out. Just give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. Again, New York Yankees should be able to take care of the Texas Rangers. And the game after that, you got the Los Angeles Dodgers facing off against the Los Angeles Angels. 6:38 Pacific. You got Walker Buehler going up against Reed Detmers. I think that one's pretty much a given. I'm pretty sure the Dodgers should win that one. But again, it's baseball. You never know. And then you got Seattle Mariners facing off against the Oakland A's at Oakland. Luis Castillo going up against JT Jen this evening. Both the A's and the Giants will be starting their games close together there. Finish probably about the same time. And then, like I said, we talked about it at the top. You got the Diamondbacks versus against the Giants. Ryan Nelson. It says undecided, but it sounds like it's going to be Kyle Harrison. We'll see how that transpires. Again, Kyle Harrison. We'll see how he does tomorrow at 6:45. Let's get into the wild card here. The San Diego Padres sitting atop of the wild card, 79 wins and 61 losses. Diamondbacks are right behind them. Then the Braves, of course, like I said, it's a close one here between the Braves and the Mets, only separating by a half a game. So those two games later this evening should be interesting. And of course, the Cubs, they're making a move too. As you can see, the last we talked about this last night. Their last 10, they're 8-2, so they're playing some really good baseball. And then you got the Cardinals and then the Giants. 6.5 games out. They're all but out of it, except being mathematically eliminated. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be very telling, depending on how the series ends with the Cardinals. And I think it could pretty much 100% write them off. I'm guessing. We'll see. We'll see how it transpires. Again, season's not over yet, but it's not looking good. All right, guys. There is the schedule for today's Major League Baseball. Again, join us tonight. 9:30. That's what I'm guessing. Somewhere around there. To do the postgame of Giants D-backs. Glenn will be with me tonight. And until tonight, you guys have a great day. And we'll be looking forward to talking to you on the postgame. Until then, see ya.